Hey,
It's been a while.
I know, right? So we recorded the Ash Wednesday piece. Well, before Ash Wednesday, right? Or was it right around? It was on
No,
Ash
it was
Wednesday.
we did it live.
Right? Because we did the Ashes.
We did the whole
We haven't
Ashes,
seen each
yeah.
other for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So
We've been busy.
so this is the second to last Friday in Lent, the penultimate Friday of Lent, which is really nothing special. But that's when it is, folks. That's when we're recording.
It's always special when we get to hang out. That's the for one. But this weekend is very special with
Well, lots
Sunday
of
coming
things.
up, but
Yeah. And so it was your idea to make a Lenten playlist to and to pick a song for one song for Lent, one song for Maundy Thursday, and one song for Good Friday, which is the ultimate Friday of Lent. And I thought it was lovely. And I have to tell you, so this is our fifth playlist. And I went back and I looked at those first couple playlists that have so many songs. And even though I love all the songs, and I admitted the last time about how much I want all the things all the time, I admit that I do like the shorter playlists. So tell your media savvy friend that they were correct.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, alongside this, my Lenten practice has been curating songs for each day, like following the lectionary and a devotion from Luther Seminary, and then finding a song that speaks into that I can pray into the song. So, and I'm happy to release that on Substack. It'll be 40 songs long, so that won't be a short playlist, but that will...
Sure. But you've been doing that all through Lent, and so you, just to let people know, you can find Jamie's daily Lenten reflections on the Here We Jam Substack. And
behind right now, but the song's there. I just haven't wrote the reflection to accompany it.
Right on. And I haven't had time to engage all of them. Time here and there as I've found time. So yeah, it's great. It's really, really cool.
Right, and I also took the liberty of, because I'm following it 40 days, so I take Sunday off.
Right on. All right. Well, and so it's really fascinating. I've done this at some other times in my life. This is only the second time where I've fasted for Lent, and so here's my kombucha for today, and so I break the fast on Sundays, and so it's from the time that we last were together in the same room. I've been just having juice for 6 days a week, and I've done this probably I think about 10 times in my life, although this is the second time I've done it for Lent, and it's a really busy season for people who work in church spaces. And maybe one of the reasons why I usually haven't done it in Lent is because it's so busy. And right now in the fast, I'm, I don't know, 20, I don't know how many days in, right? 30.
30 yeah. I should know. It's 32, 30.
Yeah, something like that, right? And so getting used to fasting, there's kinds of ebbs and flows. And this is kind of, when I've fasted at other times too, it's true that you get to this kind of third kind of week where my energy just gets really low. And so I was like, yeah, right. This is why I haven't done this in Lent often, because it's a little hard, right? And that's okay. So we should talk about Lent because you had this great idea, and I think it was really lovely. And so we have this playlist, 6 songs. The first 2 are for Lent, and you chose a song, "Bad" by U2.
U2 again shows up quite often here.
Oh, U2.
Which is funny, considering, the last time we recorded, afterwards we discovered that U2 had just released an Ash Wednesday EP, which EPs are back, people, like that's a thing.
Go find that.
But that EP is genuinely very good.
Great, yeah.
But it hasn't made it into either the Ash Wednesday playlist, because we didn't know about it, or the Lent playlist. But my reason for this actually was probably torn between 2 songs, and I won't mention the other one because then I'll feel compelled to put it in there. So maybe I can save it for another time. But this song is, if I was going to describe a word or a theme in one word perhaps, that describes my experience this particular Lent, and I think it's probably every Lent, but this particular is the word surrender, and it is encapsulated in this song. And there's a couple of things that probably led into that. A few months ago, I was walking the dog, bumped into a friend of ours that was telling me about a health event that they had and calling his wife, and his wife saying essentially, surrender, like just surrender where you are, and like let people take care of you. And that stuck with me. And then a month or so later, I was at a faith and fundraising conference. This was last month during Lent, and meeting with the world's only philanthropic psychologist, Jen Chang, shout out. She's inspired something else that will hopefully be a future thing for us, a Lutheran community piece. But in that conversation, I kept bouncing around, what does it mean to surrender? What does it mean to surrender and be claimed, to allow yourself to be reclaimed by Christ? And I think this song, like you two just do a fantastic job. Bono's pain, you can hear it. There's a lot of there's deep theology in this song.
Oh, yeah.
Like dislocation. What does it mean to dislocate yourself from this world and claim the world to come, and to just simply surrender yourself and to give up any hopes or aspirations that you have for what you want, and let God take over. And I listened and I prayed into the song multiple times over and over and over again after that conversation with Jen, because it was speaking into my experience for Lent. And I don't always do a great job of this, but wanting to let go, to surrender myself and to fade away into God and let God take over.
I think there's a theme here that I was sensing in a number of our choices, and I'm just going to quote here the song. I pulled up the lyrics, and if I could, I would. If I could, I would let it go. And the idea that we can't, right? Like it is beyond our ability, right? That salvation must come from an external source, and that's part of the journey for Lent and part of the theology that I ascribe to, that I cannot save myself. And I sense that theme coming over and over and over again in these songs. So
it partners so well, with a lot of Bono's music. I won't say Bono specifically, but it is really all of you two.
Yeah. They write as a team.
Yeah.
Right. They all attribute, and they see themselves as a one.
Yeah.
As a collective one. Yeah.
And you think of the genesis of that band, like they almost weren't a band because Edge was going to go off to
Bible
commune, basically. Bible commune.
Yeah.
And so, and the tension that he had with like doing secular music.
Right.
And, Yeah. So
surrender. There it is.
But the song is bad. It's from Songs of Surrender, but features the word surrender pretty heavily in the lyric, and genuinely just a beautiful song. Yeah.
And I put for my Lenten song a tune that I wrote with friends, and this song, Street Kyrie, was something that my spouse Amy and I wrote while we were on our internships to be Lutheran pastors in Colorado, and then included our seminary classmate from Philadelphia, Emmanuel Flor. And so Emmanuel's playing the trumpet on this. And it was written in response to the George Floyd uprisings after his murder. And, of course, that was the city that we lived in for many years, though at the time when all that happened, we were not living there. We were in transition between Philadelphia and Denver. And so this song came out of that experience, and then we were able to put it together. And that summer after we were there, I'll put a link in the kind of description for this episode. Went and just recorded some video of George Floyd Square that first summer, and put a video out on YouTube of that. And then this song was utilized in the United Church of Christ, their National Assembly, a couple of years back. And I'm really proud of it. And it really also speaks to that, that longing, that idea that we can't make it on our own. Yeah.
I mean, there's genuinely, we were just discussing before we hit record, but something beautiful about this experience, not only to share it with you all, but to share it with each other. Because I'm finding music I'd never heard of, or I'm like being introduced to stuff that Joel has produced, right? And so he sent me this his songs, and I was listening to this. I think it was this morning. I was driving home after I dropped the kids off, because I was playing it for the kids, and then I dropped the kids off at school, and I was driving back. And the lyric, remind me,
we come to the street to pray with our feet.
I think I may have yelled an amen to that as I was driving down the street, because I was like, that is a powerful, powerful line, and I think it's fitting given what's again
where we are right now.
On Sunday, this Sunday, and there is, I don't know if we want to talk.
Yeah, we can. So our places of work are actually partnering in something in 2 days' time. So it's called Love on the Way. And there was this tradition when I was growing up. We were reflecting on this in the South Dakota Synod staff about what Palm Sunday was like growing up. And I grew up in a very musical family and a musical congregation. And so there was all these youth choirs and bell choirs and adult choir, and Palm Sunday is this kind of musical kind of experience where you, in my experience and lots of, I think, other places too, where you kind of process into the church with these palm branches and waving them, and there's all this kind of big processional. And so we're going to do that together, Lutheran Social Services of South Dakota and the South Dakota Synod, but we're going to process around the neighborhood in downtown Sioux Falls. And so this Love on the Way will start at the Multicultural Center, and our first stop with our palm branches, and we'll go out to the Center for New Americans. Lutheran Social Services does this really great work helping people become new citizens. And so they're here, and whatever has brought them here, and it's all kinds of training for how to live here in this place, right? And it's just great work. And so that'll be our first stop. And then we'll stop Midwestern Street Medicine, which is a medical van that goes and serves people who are underserved in healthcare. And they have this van, and so we're going to go and stop at one of the city parks, and the van will be there, and we'll meet them and get to kind of hear a little bit about their work. And then we'll stop at the banquet, which is a feeding ministry, and we'll have an opportunity to be there with one of their leaders and hear about what they do, and then we'll process back to the Multicultural Center. And so if you're interested, and if you're in Sioux Falls, this Sunday, Palm Sunday, 2:00 in the afternoon, we'll put the link in the description, and you can join us for the Love on the Way. So.
And even if you're catching this post the event, right? And maybe it's 2027 when you're finally listening to this. But just to think, it's something beautiful about the way the framing of that event. I mean, it's the three ways in which Jesus loves, right, through his ministry.
Love welcomes, and that's the stop at the Center for New Americans, and love heals. That's the stop with the Midwest Medical Street van, and then love feeds. That's at the banquet, and so it's really going to be great, and so we get to do that together. And this is like I think the first time that we have that. We our two Lutheran Social Services and South Dakota Synod partner a lot, all the time, but this is one of the first times I think that we get to do that together. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
at least.
I mean, the next time will be Synod Assembly,
right? Right. Yeah.
But that this is a crystal clear way.
It's great.
Yeah. So, it's a nice segue into the next song.
Yeah,
Love Feeds.
So
we can't feed without a table.
Exactly. So we had two table songs.
Maundy Thursday,
right. And so this Maundy Thursday, and I immediately knew that I would put in Table in the Wilderness, which is Russ Taff is the original composer, and he recorded it. I think I remember hearing it in the 90s. And I was torn because I have that kind of emotional connection to the first version of that song that I heard and I thought was so powerful. But it's definitely kind of 90s Christian rock. And this newer version that I put in here from the Mission is just so good. Soul Mission is the name of the recording artist. Table in the Wilderness, Russ Taff tune. I just love this tune. This one is one of those to like roll down the windows and just play it really loud when you're driving somewhere. And it's my Maundy Thursday song. Now for you, this Crowded Table song, I love this tune. And when we were on our internships, so for Lutheran pastors, we do 2,000 hours of an internship, and my spouse Amy was leading at a church in first-year suburb of Denver, and they started I think it was a Saturday or maybe it was a Sunday night worship service, kind of young adult, kind of inclusive thing, and this was the theme song. So we sang it like for 6 months or whatever, every time we'd get together. And so it's just this great song, Crowded Table. What's your connection to Crowded Table? And this is your choice. So how did you come to this one?
I think Maundy Thursday, I think of Jesus gathering with friends and sharing a meal. And I didn't think of this until just now, right? We think about the people that are present, the people that were present at the table, are not always the people that were are represented in the image of who was at the table. So to have a song that is a female supergroup, really, the Highwaymen, to showcase that. And honestly, the first time I heard this song, when that band got together and released it, it was like, this seems like a communion song. Like this screams communion. And listening to it again today, it reminded me of conversations I've had with saints and prophets in my life from 20 some years ago, talking about being a mountain when you're in a valley, right? Leaning on other people to help you. And that's what discipleship, what communion and community is all about. So I want a place where there is a crowded table where all are welcome and that we care for one another and we can be each other's mountains when we're in valleys.
That chorus is so good. You just have to listen to it if you haven't listened to the Highwaymen and their recording of a Crowded Table. And the chorus is, I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able and bring us back together when the day is done. It's so good.
Yeah. And the call to discipleship that even exists in that. Like we all want that. I think we can all claim that. And then the reminder is like, if we want that, if you want that table, you want that garden, you got to sow seeds. And that's another lyric right from there. If I want a garden, we're going to have to sow the seeds. If we want this, if we want that crowded table, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and be disciples.
Yep. Along that line, so then we get to Good Friday, and I had so many songs that were here, and I won't mention them again because, of course, I think that there is something special about a slimmed down or succinct kind of playlist. But boy, there were so many songs I could mention for this. This one, Broken. It comes from a Lutheran congregation called Church of the Beloved that was out in Seattle. And Amy and I did some singing with them at various times. And this is an album that they put out, Hope for a Tree Cut Down. And the whole liturgy that they created was inspired in quoting Henry Nouwen quotes. And they got some permission from his foundation or group to do this. But what I was thinking of as you were talking about Crowded Table and planting the seeds, one of the Sundays that Amy and I were at Church of the Beloved, we were there singing in worship, and they had just received a new queen bee for their beehives. And so they were having a blessing of the queen bee to go introduce the queen to their community's beehives, which are on their property. And they had this large old mansion that they communally lived together, and the large room downstairs was where they would worship together. And so this song "Broken" is just one of those tunes that's so powerful, and for me, the brokenness of Good Friday. But the song is so hopeful, and that tension of hope in the midst of brokenness is, it's poignant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you'll just have to listen to the tune.
I found myself singing along to that one
I know, right?
as well. These are good playlists. I genuinely, I believe it. And I listen to them, and I enjoy them. I was playing them with my kids. But I enjoyed that song a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we close out with your selection, Let It Be.
So as I was thinking just there, the narrative of where we're going on this journey, or Christ is going on this journey, the broken maybe should have been the last one, but actually this one also makes sense. So this one's spoken to me because looking at the lectionary, it's John's passion story, and a couple of years ago when I was in seminary, we did the passion story, or rather the betrayal and the arrest of Jesus in my preaching class. And Caroline Lewis, shout out to Caroline Lewis, I'm going to just shout outs across the board here, but she had us do this exercise where we acted it out without words, actually. And one of the groups did it. And when Judas comes, and the
kiss.
Well, before the kiss, when they're kind of acting out like the soldiers saying, "Are you him?" And then it says, "I am." When he says, "I am him," they feel like a power stance almost, and the soldiers backed up. Judas stood still, and I was like, there was something powerful in that. And then Peter pulls out the sword to respond, and lashes at the soldier, and Jesus immediately pushes him aside. And from Mark's or Matthew's or Luke's gospel, not from John's, but immediately I'm seeing Jesus saying, "Get behind me, Satan!" And it's Peter that leads me to this song, because quite often, I find myself empathizing with Peter all the time, right? That. I want to lash out when someone challenges my perception of who my Messiah is, and I want to pull out a sword and I want to fight. And I've got to remind myself that if I'm doing that, then I'm not letting Jesus guide the way. And that maybe what I need to hear in that moment is a word of "get behind me," or as my dad used to sing this song to us all the time, to just let it be. And it's not to say that this is like your anger is not righteous. It's to say that this needs to happen. As Christ would say, am I not to drink from the cup my Father has given me? Right? These things have to pass, and to let it be, and that things will come right.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking, of course, in the lectionary we get that season where Peter makes that declaration that Jesus is this Messiah, the one who is to come, and Jesus says that, states that when Peter says this, that the gates of Hades will not prevail over the foundation of the church. He says, "Peter, you are my rock. You are on this church, on this your confession, we will build the church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail over it." And in that moment, that scene is at the headwaters of the Jordan River. Amy and I got to go there in 2023, where there is this temple, or there was an ancient temple there, that was said to be the gate of Hades, that where the springs kind of came up out of this well. And so when Jesus is saying that, right, they're at this temple to other gods, and a temple to Caesar was there. And you can see Jesus pointing, saying, that gate will not prevail over the rock that this will be built upon. It's fascinating to know that history, but then at the very same moment, then when Jesus says, "Well, then I have to drink this bitter cup," and Peter says, "No, never," and then Jesus says, "Well, get behind me."
Yeah.
I can't let it go. The very first song that we talked about. I can't do it on my own. I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And no, you got to let it go.
Well, I think that's what these
you
two.
You got to let it be.
Those two buckhand each other.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's really fascinating. And I didn't realize that, or I didn't remember that we both had Caroline Lewis for Preaching John courses. So that connection. That's great. Really good. We didn't even go to the same seminary. We just happened to end up having the same professor at different times. So that's really cool. Well, hey, friends. Happy Lent.
Yeah.
Happy Lent.
Happy Lent. And hope you enjoy the playlist. Engage with us on Substack. We'll have all those in the links to on the podcast. But yeah, happy Lent.
Here we jam.
Here we jam.